yesterday at the opening ceremony of 60-day retreat, Saraji explained about asama. Asama is the Pali word meaning that it is the place where one extinguishes the defilements which are the cause of suffering. In asama, one extinguishes the defilements raga, dosa, moha by practicing sila, samadhi, panya, morality, concentration, and wisdom intensively. The place itself cannot extinguish the defilement, but the place is the support when yogis practice in order to extinguish the defilement. It is the yogis who have to practice sila, samadhi, panya in order to extinguish the defilement. In the past, people usually practice in the form of being a monk. Even if one cannot become a monk, one should practice. One practices in the appearance, in a different appearance, not wearing beautiful clothes, not wearing clothes that beautify oneself. When one approaches the meditation center, one wears different clothes in different appearance, and it is called papaja. The word papaja is made up of pa and vaja. Pa means giving up, and vaja means approaching in different appearance. Papaja means novitiating, ordaining into a monk, into a novice, into nun, into yogi. And where do they approach? They have to approach to the meditation center where one extinguishes the defilement intensively. And it is called asama. Asama is the place where one extinguishes the defilement intensively by practicing the three trainings, sila, samadhi, panya. In order to approach a meditation center, asama, one has to give up certain things. It is said, sabba techa paritadena, meaning that one has to give up worldly matters. One has to give up worldly matters in a systematic way. One has to give up matters concerning with family, marriage, business, job, education, and so on. One has to give up such worldly matters in order to approach the meditation center to practice. Vaja means approaching the meditation center in different appearance. One has to approach the meditation center in order to extinguish the defilements which are the cause of suffering. So papaja means approaching a meditation center in different appearance to practice Sila, Samadhi, Panya, morality, concentration, and wisdom. So this is the hidden meaning of the word Vipassana. Yesterday was the opening ceremony of a 60-day Vipassana meditation retreat. Yogis who are here, they give up the worldly pleasures in order to join the retreat, and they bear different appearance, wearing yogi clothes, wearing nun clothes or monk clothes, so they are in different appearance. They no longer wear beautiful clothes while they are on retreat. So they wear simple clothes. Wearing different appearance, it's just wearing a different appearance. But one has to bear the practice Sila, Samadhi, Panya. One has to practice Sila, Samadhi, Panya in order to eradicate defilement which has been following throughout the round of existence. The defilement has three phases: Vitekama Kilesa, transgressive defilement that manifests in body and speech. Pariyuthana Kilesa, obsessive form of defilement, can manifest in the mind. Anusya Kilesa are the latent or dormant form of defilement. So long as one has not eradicated the defilement, these defilements can arise at any moment when there is opportunity, when there are favorable circumstances. Bearing the appearance of a yogi, a nun, a monk or novice, one cannot eradicate the defilement. So one should not only bear the appearance of a yogi, but one should practice Sila, Samadhi, Panya, morality, concentration, wisdom, in order to eradicate the defilement. One has to practice Sila, Samadhi, Panya in order to abandon, in order to remove gross, medium, and refined form of defilement, so that one physical, verbal, mental behavior will be pure, clean, gentle, peaceful, and lovable. One should have the aim and objective of removing, abandoning the defilement. One should have the aim and objective in order to be free from suffering of the samsara. Having good aim and objective to be free from suffering, one should practice Sila, Samadhi, Panya. In order to practice, in order to gain one's aim and objective, one should be mindful of every arising object. Whatever object that arises, one should be mindful. One should guard and protect one's mind by being mindful. One should be mindful of every arising object, even the opening and closing of the eyes should be done mindfully. Blinking, opening, and closing of the eyes should be done mindfully, and one should be very determined that one will not miss or fail to note anything. One should be mindful all the time, continuously, apart from sleeping hours. Apart from sleeping hours, one should be continuously mindful. One should note every arising object at the moment of their arising with aim and effort. One should aim one's noting mind towards the object. One should put effort in order to know the object so that there will be sustained mindfulness. Doing so, one not only wears the appearance of a yogi, but one also bears the practice. In order to be worthy of giving up the worldly matters when coming to the retreat, one should practice diligently so that the Buddha's teaching, Buddha's culture, Buddhist culture will be within oneself. One should practice the Buddhist culture so that one's body, speech and mind will be pure, clean, blameless, gentle and lovable. One should practice diligently. There are two things, knowledge and practice. There are definite guidance and instruction given in order to bring benefit. So when teachers give talk, Dhamma talk, or during the interview, during the Dhamma discussion, yogis should listen attentively. One should listen attentively the guidance and instruction given so that one can practice in accordance with the guidance and instruction. These guidance and instructions are given so that one will benefit. So in the worldly sense, when one prospers, when one's economy is good, then there will be well-being, there will be ease and comfort. In the same way, one needs to be good in Dhamma listen. So one should listen attentively on the guidance and instruction. In order to gain knowledge of the method, one should listen attentively on the guidance and instruction. In order to practice systematically, there is discipline. There are certain rules and regulations, discipline, which is called Vinaya. In brief, one should follow according to the guidance and instruction accurately. And also, one should refrain from things that have been prohibited. So this is called knowledge. These guidance and instructions show the way how one should practice in order to gain benefit. And it also shows the way to refrain from certain things so that one will not meet harm. In order to gain knowledge, one should listen attentively when the teacher is giving Dhamma talk according to the teaching of the Buddha, and one should also listen attentively during interview and Dhamma discussion. Doing that, one will be able to follow the straight path. By following the straight path, correct path, one will reach the destination. So there is knowledge and practice. When one is doing sitting meditation, one should know that one should note rising and falling of the abdomen as primary object. One also has to note other objects that arises during sitting meditation. When doing walking meditation, one should focus one's attention on the feet, noting the step, lifting, moving, and placing. One should be mindful whenever one lifts, whenever one moves, and whenever one places. During sitting meditation, one should be noting the primary object, rising and falling of the abdomen. In order to note rising of the abdomen, one should aim the noting mind towards the object rising of the abdomen so that the noting mind will be face to face or direct with the object. Aiming is vitakka, it is one of the jhanic factors. So one should aim one's noting mind towards the object. In order that the noting mind should reach the object, one should exert ardent effort. One should exert effort in the practice. One should exert effort so that the noting mind will reach the object of meditation. In this way, one should be noting the presently arising object with aim and effort. And one should exert effort in the practice. One should always be alert, active, and ready to note the object. One should not be noting in a slow manner, but one should note as soon as the object arises. The same goes when noting the falling of the abdomen and when whatever the object is. And also during walking meditation, every time one lifts the foot, every time one moves the foot, every time one places the foot, one should be noting the step with aim and effort. One should exert effort continuously every single second in order to know the object. In this way, one should have the knowledge how to practice, and one should practice according to the instruction and guidance. In the beginning of the practice, there are times when one misses or fails to know the object, but one should not be discouraged. One should practice diligently. And when one becomes skillful with the practice, the noting mind will be aimed towards the object, there will be effort, and the noting will be concurrent with the object of meditation. Aiming the noting mind towards the object, one gains benefit of aiming the noting mind towards the object of meditation. Being able to aim one noting mind towards the object of meditation, one's mind will not go on to sensual objects. There will not be wrongful thoughts about sensual objects. There will not be wish to torment others. There will not be the wish to harm others. In this way, being able to aim one noting mind towards the object, one will be free from three kinds of wrongful thoughts. Wrongful thoughts about sensual pleasure, wrongful thoughts about ill will, wrongful thoughts about tormenting. These wrongful thoughts are automatically dispelled when one is able to aim one's noting mind towards the object. Aiming the noting mind towards the object, being free from the wrongful thoughts, one's mind will be pure and clean, and the noting mind will be sustained onto the object. When there is viriya, effort, kilesa, defilements are blocked. One is dispelling kilesa, defilements, and other defilements such as laziness has no chance to arise. In this way, one dispels defilements by not giving any chance for these defilements to arise by being mindful. One should exert effort every single second. Exerting effort in the practice, one is dispelling kilesa, defilement. Noting the object with aim and effort, there will be sustained mindfulness. The noting mind will stick onto the object, and thus sati, mindfulness, will be developed. When sati, mindfulness, is developed, kilesa, defilement, cannot enter the mind. The mind is guarded, protected by mindfulness. There will be rakha. The mind will be protected away from the defilement by sati, mindfulness. Avarana, the defilement will be blocked away from the defilement will be blocked. The mind will be blocked away from the defilement. And there will be goti, security. In this way, when mindfulness is present, the mind is guarded, protected. Kilesa, defilements are blocked from entering into the mind, and there will be safety and security whenever there is mindfulness. When the mind is safe and secure away from the defilement, the mind will be free from defilement, and there will be peace. So such benefits arise when mindfulness is present. The noting mind will stick onto the object. The mind falls calm and collected on the object. When the noting mind falls calm and collected on the object, it is khanika samadhi, momentary concentration. When khanika samadhi, momentary concentration, is developed, the mind will be calm, collected, unified. It will not run elsewhere, but it will only fall on the object of meditation. So there is samadhi, concentration. In the beginning of the practice, one has to aim and make effort in the practice. And later on, when the yogi becomes skillful in the practice, the noting mind will be concurrent with the object, and the noting mind runs against the object, and the noting will be effective. When the noting mind runs onto the object, when the noting is effective, one will understand the object, and one will understand the nature of the object. When the mind falls calm and collected on the right plane of the abdomen, one comes to know the nature of stiffness, tension, and so on. And when the noting mind falls on the falling of the abdomen, one comes to know the nature of relaxation, movement, and so on. And one develops knowledge. Viriya, sati, and samadhi, when the effort, mindfulness, and concentration are present, one comes to know the true nature, and one develops knowledge. When these factors, viriya, sati, and samadhi, effort, mindfulness, and concentration are present, kilesa, defilement, will be dispelled. The mind will be calm and collected. When the noting mind is aimed towards the object, there will not be vidya, vichaka, there will not be wrongful thoughts. Having samma sankappa, right aiming, the mind will fall on the object and one comes to know the true nature. Viriya, sati, and samadhi, effort, mindfulness, and concentration make up samadhi khanda, concentration group. Aiming the noting mind towards the object, it is samma sankappa. Knowing correctly, it is samadhi. Samma sankappa and samadhi, right application and right view make up panya khanda, wisdom group. So one has to practice according to the teaching of the Buddha. By practicing according to the teaching, one develops knowledge. When one develops knowledge, one's mind will be more clear. At the moment of practice, there is nothing to transgress, but as one has the volition to refrain from transgression, there will be Vedana Sila. Having Vedana Sila, there will be Samma Vāca, right speech, Samma Kammanta, right action, and Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. Having samadhi present, having concentration, one's mind is pure and clean. And developing knowledge, the mind is even more pure. At the moment of noting, sila is involved, samadhi is involved, and when developing knowledge, panya also is involved. So every noting, when one develops knowledge, there will be sila, samadhi, panya, morality, concentration, and wisdom. And in terms of the factors, there will be 8 factors of the path. So in each of the notings are precious, having these 8 factors of the path, and it is called preliminary path, Upapaga Magga. And when one continues to practice, when one becomes mature, there will be Ariya Magga, there will be noble path. Understanding that each of the notings are very precious, one will diligently practice. Knowing the benefit of practice, one will value practice and one practices diligently, respectfully, meticulously. If one does not know the benefit, one will not value the practice, one will not practice respectfully, one will not practice meticulously, and the person can become a chronic yogi. So it is very important that one practices accurately according to the guidance and instruction. By noting, when one comes to know the true nature, in each of these notings, when one comes to know the true nature, there will be the 3 training, sila, samadhi, panya, present in each of these notings when one knows the true nature. When one practices, when one has these 3 natures, 3 sikha, sila, samadhi, panya, then one is said to be possessing the 3 training, sila, samadhi, panya. When one possesses the 3 training, sila, samadhi, panya, one can be called a true Vipassana. One not only bears the appearance of the Vipassana, but one also bears the practice by practicing Sila, Mani, Panya. Practicing the three trainings, one is removing gross, medium, and refined form of defilement. One does not give any chance for the gross, medium, and refined form of defilement. One dispels, removes, and abandons gross, medium, and refined form of defilement. And thus, one also bears the practice of Vipassana. In order that one not only bears the appearance of Vipassana, but also to bear the practice of a Vipassana, one should learn the correct method of practice, and one should practice in accordance with the instruction and guidance. And one should also make this knowledge, one should also make use of this learning of the instruction and guidance, and one should practice diligently. Practicing diligently, practice will make the person perfect. In order to practice, one has given up the worldly matters, one has given up the sensual pleasure. Usually, people cherish and value sensual pleasure. Sensual pleasure is called Kama Sukha. And Buddha said, Kama Sukha is also can be called Lila Sukha, impure happiness that is compared to pity. When one gives up the worldly matters and sensual pleasure in order to join the retreat, then one comes into the field of Dhamma. When one comes to the field of Dhamma, there can be Nekkhamma Sukha, happiness of renunciation. In the meditation center, even though one has to stay in group, but one has to practice by himself, by herself, and there will be Kaya Viveka, seclusion of body. And when one practices, when one develops Sila, Samadhi, Panya, morality, concentration, and wisdom, there will be Citta Viveka. The mind will be secluded away from the defilement. And thus, there will be Kaya Viveka Sukha, Citta Viveka Sukha, happiness of seclusion of both the mind and the body. When one's mind is free from gross, medium, and refined form of defilement, there will be Upasamma Sukha. One develops knowledge stage by stage, and one can realize Sambodha Sukha when one's knowledge becomes mature. For the yogi who practices diligently, she will gain all of the happiness, all of the sukha. One has given up the sensual pleasure to come to the retreat, but if one does not practice diligently, one will be losing all these kinds of sukha. It is said that Bhatta Sukha Prejaga Bhakteya Vipula Sukha, meaning that in order to gain great happiness, one has to give up minor happiness. When one is sure to gain the assured kind of happiness, one should be willing to give up minor kind of happiness that is insignificant. In order to gain greater kind of happiness, one should make sacrifices to give up minor, insignificant kind of happiness. So yogis who are here, they have given up the worldly happiness, sensual happiness. In order to be worthy of giving up such kind of happiness, one should practice diligently. Practicing diligently, when one develops knowledge, in each of his or her knowledge, there will be 3 kinds of Sikha, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. So may you all be able to practice diligently so that you will be developing 3 kinds of Sikha, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, and to be able to gain the happiness, the Dhamma happiness. So may you all be able to practice diligently in order to gain the kind of happiness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.